What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So I'm in a different setting today, so I apologise in advance if there's loud noises. I'm on the move, so obviously that's less in my control. However, the video that I want to cover today, or the topic of the video that I want to cover today is: should men focus on women or goals? Should men focus on women or goals? Now, in the past, you could essentially achieve your goals. It was more likely that you could achieve your goals if you had a woman. Let's talk about the 1950s, 60s, maybe even 70s.
Please use the lips if you are carrying heavy or large luggage.
But as times have changed, as things have become harder, it's a lot harder to juggle. It's a lot harder to juggle the woman. It's a lot harder to juggle the goals. It's a lot harder to juggle the house and all of that. So I think that what a lot of young men need to realise, and men in general, is that there is a trade-off, and that's something that people really need to think about in their assessment. You need to look at what your surroundings are, you need to look at your circumstances, and you need to carry out a cost-benefit analysis, and coupled with that, you also need to look at the trade-off. So if you go all in on your goals, then there may be less women for now. But if you go all out with women, then your goals are going to suffer. And you can't blame the women. You can't be out here blaming the women if you're not achieving your goals when you're fully focused on the women. But at the same time, if you focus on your goals, you can't be complaining that there's less women about. So I'm going to focus really on average men, because that's the majority. If you're anything from a 4 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10, you're in the average range, aren't you? Because that's 4 out of 10 being slightly below average, 7 out of 10 being slightly above average with regards to sexual market value, because your sexual market value ultimately determines your success with the opposite gender. So average men, in my opinion, in today's climate in the Western world, your best bet really is to, when you're younger, so when you're 18 to maybe even your early 40s or late 30s, focus on your goals. Because for most men, achievement is slow release. Unless you're an athlete, athletes are early blossomers. Musicians tend to be early blossomers because the market favours the young. So if you're the average guy who maybe has a corporate job, your success is going to be a slowly built thing in terms of your goals, whatever your goals may be with regards to promotion, or maybe even starting your own business, your income, financial goals. It's going to be a slowly built thing. And if you have a woman there, I'm not saying it's impossible. You do meet the odd guy who met with the woman when he was 18 and they did their thing and they built something together, but you need to understand that this is not Hollywood. You need to understand this is not the 1970s either. That is becoming less and less and less of a common occurrence. So you need to focus on your goals, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, an opinion from a complete stranger online. But with regards to my opinion, if you're an average guy, you got to be real honest with yourself, man. You got to be real honest with yourself. I'm not a 10 out of 10 with regards to sexual market value. We got to be humble. We got to be honest with ourselves. If you're an average guy, if you're within the average range at this stage, then you probably want to focus on your goals. And then when you've achieved some of those goals, because you're always going to have goals you want to achieve no matter what age you are, most likely, Once you start achieving the goals on your list, then you can start thinking about women, because you will be mentally in a much better state. You'll probably financially be in a much better state, because when you get with a woman, your time is going to decrease, and you can't blame women for that. Women take up your time, they do, but it's not something you blame women for. It's just a fact of the matter. So you can have a choice. You either accept that women take up your time and you get with a woman and you get the benefits of being with a woman, or you don't get with a woman and you don't get the drawbacks that can happen with being with a woman, but you also don't get the positives either. So it's about pros and cons, weighing up cost-benefit analysis and analysing the subsequent trade-off. So if you're an average guy, 4 out of 10 to 7 out of 10 on the sexual market value scale of sorts, then you need to focus on your goals, in my opinion, especially if you're a young man. And then when you get to maybe 38, 39, 40, maybe if you're doing particularly well, this isn't an exact science, maybe if you're 35, maybe, then start thinking about women and kids if that's what you want out of life. Because getting with a woman and then having some kids, that's going to take up so much of your time. You're not going to be able to achieve you're just not going to be able to put the same energy into your goals and ambitions. So in my opinion, if you're a young guy, I keep saying I'm going to switch topic in a sec. If you're a young guy, or if you're an average guy, average range guy, focus on your goals and then think about women later. And here's the thing, once you start achieving those goals, once you start achieving those goals, the women are going to come. The women are going to come. So think of it like that. Women will start coming. You will start becoming more attractive to the opposite sex when you start getting with women. You'll become more attractive to the opposite sex when you start achieving your goals. That's just how it works. So that's probably your best bet and a win-win. Achieve your goals, have fun achieving your goals, grind your ass off, and then when you're ready to have, women and kids, you'll be more attractive to women anyway. Now, with regards to the drawbacks of this, you may have less women in the immediate short term. Now, I'm not saying don't ever focus on women. I'm not saying that. So if you're one of these guys that listens to my advice and you're like, you know what, Jordan's right here, I'm going to focus on my goals. I'm 18, I'm going to focus on my goals in time in my 30s, early mid-30s, whatever. That doesn't mean don't have short-term flings or have some experience with women, and that's probably recommended. But what I'm saying is the majority of your time should not be going towards women. Now, with regards to the flip side, the other side of the coin, if you decide that you're going to focus on women over your goals, that's your choice. That's your choice. And you know what? There are some guys out there who do better with a woman than they would do without one. With regards to achieving your goals, there are some guys. Most guys, I'm going to recommend you don't focus on the women. You just focus on achieving your goals while you're young. But there are some guys out there who need that external validation and encouragement. There are some guys out there that need that external validation, and they need women in order to achieve their goals. But in all honesty, those are the guys most of the time who don't go on to achieve much. They need a woman literally just to get their ass on the couch. But the pros of putting women before your goals while you're building up is that you have much more time to yourself to achieve your goals. You have more energy, sexual and mental energy, because obviously you're not spending your seed, and you're mentally, your emotional batteries are charged up and you're good to go. You don't have the obligations of being in a relationship. You don't have to ask for permission. You shouldn't have to ask permission when you're with a woman anyway, but you don't need to come to an understanding that you're going to be doing this because of this, and you don't have to justify anything. However, there are some negatives to, you know, not having a woman about. You know, sexual interaction is part of human nature, so you're going to miss out on that, not have as much of it. The more you interact with women, the better you get with women, I find. So you're not going to have that potentially. You know, there are, and obviously, you know, being around women is, man was made to be with woman. It's not the sole purpose of man, but a man is biologically hardwired to seek out a woman to provide and protect for. So you're depriving yourself of that. So there are negatives to focusing on your goals, but there are positives, and you got to weigh them up and see which one works for you. I previously alluded to this earlier on in the video. If you're an athlete or a musician, you're most likely going to be an early bloomer if you're big. You know, if you're big. If you make it big, then it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know, if you're an athlete or a musician, you're going to get these ladies on you anyway. You can probably focus on your goals and get with 1,000 women at the same time. But in that same breath, even you need to be careful, because your goals, women tend to blur the lines, you know, when it comes to, you know, your goals and ambitions. So your work rate can drop and the competition can step one up on you. So even there you have to be careful. But I'm just going to conclude this video right here, right now. I hope that the audio's been alright with it. Should men focus on women goals? My answer is, for the majority of men out there, average men, focus on your goals, and then once you've achieved some of your goals, then think about women. You'll be less resentful, because if you get with a woman and have kids and you haven't achieved your goals, there's potential for resentment to grow slowly over time towards your loved ones, and that's not good. So achieve some of those goals and then think about women. Work your ass off while you're in the prime years of your life in terms of energy, and that's what I recommend for average men. Below average men, like 0 out of 10 to 3, or 1 out of 10 to 3 out of 10 men, you need to get on your hustle, get on your grind, and get yourself out of that red zone. Before you think about anything with women. Women probably aren't even looking at you anyway. I'm just keeping it real. You need to get quickly into that average zone and then try and get above the average zone. And if you're, you know, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10 man, then good on you, because you probably achieved some of these goals anyway. But you still need to be careful. You know, look what happened to King Solomon. So you still need to be careful with regards to how you interact with women, because it's not so much, it's not even women that can get you off your grind and your focus. It's kind of you that does it to yourself. If you let women, for the most part, women won't do anything that you don't let them do. So you need to stay focused on your goals, because otherwise, you know, you could end up coming off your hustle, off your purpose. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, you can still lose it all. But the difference is, when you're a 10 out of 10 and you lose it all, it tends to hurt you a lot more. So those are my thoughts. Should men focus on money, or should men focus on goals and women? In all honesty, a bit of both. But for most men, I recommend that you focus on the goals and then the women. What do you think about what I spoke about in this video? Let me know. I hope the audio's been alright in this video. I'm on the move right now. Let me know. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell to get a notification when I make a new video, and I'll see you on the next video.